Now here's the thing. You need to do something planning-wise. Doing nothing is an option, and it's a choice. Let me tell you, it's a horrible choice. And this is why. Let's say, for instance, husband and wife, they have $7 million of assets. Let's say they do nothing. Husband dies. They don't do anything. Now, let's say now wife has all the $7 million in her own name. At her death, she takes advantage of her own personal exemption, still leaving $1.75 million subject to federal estate tax. If you take 40% of that, that's $700,000. Now, I've got a buddy in Montana who says it the best. He said, God gives us 9 months to get into this world, and the IRS gives us 9 months to get out. That's all the humor we have. We got to dig deep here. That's true. 9 months after death, you got to settle up the estate, pay that tax bill. Now, just by doing something, now there's a lot of ways that you can go about it. You can do trust work, you can do wills that create trust, and all things in between. But just doing something allows you to maximize your exemptions. And so, if you do something, both husband and wife can pass on that full 5 1/4 exemption, leaving $10.5 million you can pass on tax-free. So for this family, we wipe out a $700,000 tax bill. That's pretty good. Now along the way, there are so many great techniques and tools that you can put into place. But sometimes you don't even need that. With the exemptions and the permanency, it's all about looking at your situation and thinking if a gift plan makes sense. Or maybe it's a flexible inheritance trust, or I heard it today, a beneficiary directed trust. There's a lot of planning things that you can do. These are all things that as we start working with your family, we can help and look into. I'm running out of time here today in what I want to talk about. But there are a lot of options. Even though there's so many options, you can't let that be a roadblock for you. I don't care what you think about the guy, but Joe Biden had a great saying the other day. And in the context he used it, maybe not the best, but in the estate planning context, spot on. And what he said is that you cannot let perfect be the enemy of good. In estate planning, I find that people, they just put off planning, they won't plan, because they can't get their head wrapped around it all. They can't get things perfect 100% of their head, and so why should they even try to put it down on the paper? Well, let me tell you, what you do today, even though it's 50% of the way there, or 75% of the way there, that's so much better than not doing anything at all. Then it's the state of Iowa that says what happens, and we don't want that. So just know that what you do today, you can come back to, and you need to come back to as the years go on, as your goals change, as tax laws change. So step one is start the process, get the ball rolling, and look at doing some good planning. So that's the first obstacle. Here's the next obstacle. It's probably not as fun to think about, but is equally as important. And that's making sure that you have money there when you need it later in life to live out. First thing you need to do, you need to run a cash flow analysis. And look out in the future. Look at your current saving and spending habits and all those different things. And look into the future. And see if you're going to have a shortfall. You have to understand that question of will you outlive your money? Because as I said, the thing that I see sinking businesses the fastest today is not planning for future living expenses. So this is imperative. Financial planning is a portion of succession planning. It has to be done. Now here's another option. And this is one tool that we have in the toolbox. And this is what can be used if you want to start selling off some assets. Now a lot of people kind of put the brakes on selling assets because if you sell assets, largely that means you have to pay tax on it. Now, I know that you buy some more John Deere machinery and equipment and you put that into use, but as time goes on you can depreciate that. You could write off that purchase price. Your combine that you paid a lot for, you write it off. And when you sell that, if you sell for $200,000, well, you have to recognize that $200,000 as ordinary income and pay ordinary income tax on it. It's a big tax. Another big tax is that capital gains tax. You know, land, they said the last 2 years, land has gone up a total of about 53% over 2 years. The capital gains tax is another thing that got hiked up with the new tax legislation. Now it's no longer 15% for everybody, but now it's stepped up. So if you're in the upper income bracket, and let me tell you, the sale of large assets in and of itself puts you up into that higher bracket. Leaves you a 20% tax with an extra 3.8% Medicare surtax. That's a 24% tax. It's big, it can add up to big numbers. So a potential solution around selling that and paying a tax is by setting up one of these tax-favored trusts. This is a way that can provide you a retirement income along the way. So another option, another thing to think about, and just know that it's something in the toolbox. There's the last thing. Everyone needs to really think hard about this, because everybody knows someone that's in a nursing home today. I tell you, my grandmother's just up the road at Audubon, a Friendship Home. She's been there since 2001. And it's not cheap. But as we look at it, about 70% of Americans will need some form of care. It's about $175 a day if you're in a nursing home. You're there for a year, $64,000. If you're in there for 5 years, that's over $300,000 to pay for your stay. And how are you going to do that? Sources that won't help are your major medical policy and Medicare. Those are two programs never designed to cover your long-term care needs, so they won't be of any help. Sources that may help, or it's in italics there, it should be probably blinking and flashing, is Medicaid. Medicaid is a poverty program. But you have to have essentially nothing left, just $2,000 worth of assets left to your name before Medicaid will come in and pay for your care. So if you have anything you want to pass on to the next generation, Medicaid doesn't even enter the picture for you. You could use your own assets, but realistically, most of my clients, if they've got excess funds, they put it right back into the business. Makes you asset rich and cash poor, which is a good, it's great for the business, but it's bad for when bills start piling up. So that might not be an option. You can depend on your own family. But, every family's a little different. Every situation's different. You know what? My grandmother, she's someone that needs a skilled nurse there 24 hours a day, just something that we're not able to do. So you have to look at the reality of the situation. Another option is long-term care insurance. It's not for everybody, but it's designed to help protect your assets, helps avoid becoming a burden to your family and your business and things like that. You have to weigh the options. It can pay for your stay at home. It can pay someone to provide you with care at your own home. In addition, it's tax deductible for the premiums that you pay. So definitely something to look into as more and more people are going to be needing nursing home stays here in the future. So there's just a wrap up. Cash flow analysis is incredibly important. A charitable trust might be a good option as well, but looking into funding and making sure that you're not going to be running into a lot of problems with long-term care as well.